Good morning, New Prague area community, and welcome to our 5th episode of Supt Talk. Happy New Year to everyone. We're back in this 2015 school year, and we hope everyone had a wonderful holiday break with family, friends, and relaxation. Good morning, Mr. Dittberner.
Good morning.
Welcome to 2015. Can you just kind of tell us a little bit about what's been going on in the district, highest priorities, and maybe even some things that will be coming up in the year 2015 for the school district?
Sure. Well, besides the weather, of course, last week we had we had canceled school for one day and then had an early release. But besides that going on, probably our highest priority right now is still working on our facilities, working with the school board on that. There was a recommendation by our facilities task force, and their recommendation was to add on to the middle school so we can get all of our students in the future in grades 6 through 8 in one school. Also encompassing increasing our programming space for preschool, addressing some deferred maintenance items, our central education campus building, and especially Falcon Ridge. There's a number of issues that need to be addressed there. So that's been recommended, along with building an indoor swimming pool that would be attached to the CEC. So we've discussed this with the board the other night, Monday night at a work session, and they will probably act and have a resolution moving forward for a referendum either on January 26th or February 9th. So they have to decide the content, the final cost, and the structure of the question if it would be going to a referendum probably in May. So we're at that point right now that the board's going to have to make that decision on where they're going to move forward on that or not.
Sure. So just for the general public out there and some information for them, as we sit here, and it really is, even though it's the start of this 2015 year, our school year is half over. The semester ends next week. Principals, directors, even teachers a little bit. What does it look like for those administrators? Is it still continuing to focus on the year, or do they really even start to look into next year a little bit at this time?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's things that are going on every day, obviously, but yeah, planning for next year. We've got the budget and programming for next year. I could just take the high school, for example. We've got, just finishing up everything right now for registration for classes next year and some of the possible programming changes that we're doing just at the high school level. So there is a lot of planning going on for next year. At the district level, Sandy Lynn, our business director, will be going to the board at the first meeting in February, and we'll be, given the first draft proposal what the budget looks like and what our projected enrollment is. So, yeah, even though we're midway, we got a lot of stuff going on right now. We're planning for next year.
Yeah, I know last Monday was the 8th grade registration, and that's always a very exciting time. And as a parent, that was a time that I realized, oh my gosh, I've got a high school student, and it's kind of the middle of the year, but the high school is very much planning for next year already in that registration. So after break, we're going to come back with our first two guests. Yes. Welcome back to our 5th episode of Supt Talk. And our first guests today are a couple people who have been within our school district for quite a few years, and we're here today with them because we would like to recognize them because of their upcoming retirement. Ms. Carrie Devalk to my left, and Mrs. Linnea Hautman. So welcome, ladies, to Supt Talk.
Hi, Tony. Good morning.
So we're here today again because they will be retiring at the end of this semester or halfway through the school year. And we definitely wanted to recognize the two of you and thank you very much for your years of service. Mr. Dittberner's got a few questions for you, but before we get started, we'll start with you, Carrie, but just tell us a little bit about the number of years you've taught within the school district and the discipline you taught in.
Okay. I've been in New Prague for 16 years, and I taught at Chaska High School for 17 years before I came here. So grand total, about 33 years of teaching, and I've loved every minute of it.
And what is it that, what discipline have you taught him?
I'm a language arts teacher, so I think I've taught just about every class here at New Prague High School, from 9th grade up to 12th grade, college in the schools composition. So pretty much run the gamut of all the classes in the language arts department.
And Linnea, how about you?
I started in New Prague in 1989 when Lana Puffer gave me my first job as a parent educator. And then I've taught at the middle school and the high school and family involvement at the elementary level. So I've been across the district, and that was my dream. I moved to New Prague in 1977 after teaching in Holdingford, and I wanted to teach at New Prague High School.
All right, awesome. Are you guys sure you're old enough to retire?
Keep talking.
All right. Well, let's talk. As you reflect back on your years of teaching, what are some of your fondest memories of teaching, probably especially here at New Prague High School?
You go first.
I teach in the FACS department, and one of the things that was really fun for many years was taking my students to New York for our fashion classes. I also have enjoyed different parts of every class. And right now I'm doing a stir-fry unit, and every time I do it, I know that the students are going to be so skittish about the vegetables, and by the time we get done with that unit, they're like, that was pretty good. So it's seeing those kind of things that I always keep in mind.
Good. Carrie?
Yeah, I think every teacher says that they love seeing the aha moment when a student gets something. And I know good teachers experience that often, and that is exciting about teaching. The kids are, of course, the reason I come every day, and I'm excited every day to come to my job, which I don't think a lot of people are blessed with. And I'm glad to be a teacher. I'm happy to be a teacher, and to be around teachers, too. Teachers are great co-workers. They're interested, they're interesting, they're committed, they're fun. It's just an exciting time to come to work every day, to be around co-workers and kids and everybody involved in education.
All right, well, great. How about, since 1989, or you're 33 years in teaching, talk about what stands out to you, I guess, in the changes, all the changes that happen. It's constantly, there's changes. What sticks out in your mind? Some, things that probably haven't worked, but the changes that have made education better, too.
A lot of changes. I always say, though, to young teachers coming in, because it can be overwhelming. This year was a pretty big year for changes at the high school. A lot of new initiatives, and some of our 22, 23-year-old teachers are overwhelmed, and it's overwhelming anyway, the first year of teaching. But I just keep saying, you know what, the kids come every day. We stand up in front of the kids every day, and that has stayed the same, just the relationship between teachers and kids. The delivery systems can change, technology can change, grading can change, but it still boils down to the teacher-student relationship. So I think a lot has stayed the same, really, if you think about it.
I would agree. You're still in front of the students, you're still doing what you love, and trying to instill that passion in them for your subject matter. The kitchen ranges have not changed a lot in my foods classes. The sewing machines haven't changed a lot in my sewing classes, but I have enjoyed the technology, and it has been fun for me to say to a group, what do you want to make? Especially my independent living kids who are going to be out on their own. What do you want to make? And the technology, they're on their computers figuring it out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also improved the grading feedback for parents and students, too, now that we're entering grade.
How about the kids? Going back 30 years ago or 20 years ago, people always wonder or say the kids are different now. What's your response to that?
I think kids are much more literate today. They read more, they write more, and I think there is, kind of a cry of dismay in our country that kids don't read and we are losing literacy. But I think they read in different ways. They read every day, every hour, every minute almost. They're online, they're reading, and maybe it is a different kind of reading, but I think that's just the nature of the way the world is changing. But they read and definitely write more than I ever did in high school. And just effective communicators. I think they practice it so much more than we did in the past. So that gives me hope for the future. I really think that we are we're breeding good communicators.
And I don't really see a great difference. I think they're thinking a little quicker because they're used to doing everything more quickly because of technology. But I think in my classes, I still see kids reacting the same way.
Okay, let's talk now about future plans. I mean, retiring here in about a week and a half, your last day will be, you know, your life changes. So you're obviously got plans, so why don't you share them with us?
Well, you're not waiting too long.
I'm so excited to travel when I want, not just in the summer or MEA or Christmas break. I am so excited to actually be able to work outside in my garden, in my yard. I love being outside and not having to wait till June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And then when all the produce comes in, it's already school started. I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to read. Carrie and I have talked about, like, we can just read whenever we want to read. And just to be able to spend time with family and friends that, you know, by the end of a school day, you've got meetings, things going on. I'm excited to be able to just get together with people.
Yep.
And you're leaving Saturday morning on your first trip.
I am.
Yeah.
And where are you going on your first trip?
Phoenix.
Awesome.
Teacher friends down in Phoenix.
I heard a cold front's coming in 10 days.
I don't really care.
All right, Carrie?
Yeah, well, my husband is retired too, so he and I plan to travel a lot, and that's what I'm really excited about. We are leaving the 27th to go to Florida, and we're going to be campground hosts on an island off the coast of Fort Myers. It's called Cayo Costa State Park. Anybody wants to look it up, it's a little paradise off the coast, and so we're going to make sure all the campers are comfortable and walk around and just talk to people. And I think that's one part that I am going to miss about teaching is the constant interaction with others. So I'm excited to do that because I think it'll help me ease into retirement and then do all the stuff that Linnea said too. Yeah, my garden and my reading and more travel and maybe subbing. I'm keeping that in the back of my head too.
Yep, maybe.
Yep.
They probably have schools in Florida too where you can sub.
Yeah, I can. If I miss teenagers, I can hop right in there.
They wouldn't be
Say
as
hey.
good as Minnesota.
No,
schools.
they wouldn't. No, that's true.
Well, as you can see, the passion that comes from these two individuals here, the New Prague schools and all of our students in the last 20 plus years, for both of these ladies, they've been in very good hands. I've been here with Linnea for all 20 years, and of course with Carrie for the years that she's been here, and I've worked with both of them individually through the special education and Linnea in summer school. So I have a very soft spot for these two ladies, and as you can see again from their passion that they have for education, they will be sorely missed. I would like to ask them just one more question, if they could help our new and young teachers coming into this profession. If there's anybody out there watching who's thinking about going into teaching, what is it, just one little golden nugget you'd like to maybe share with new people coming into the teaching profession?
Boy, that's a tough one, huh?
Enjoy yourself. Be warm. Form relationships.
Yeah, the relationships that's the most important thing, and to get to know your students and to appreciate them as human beings.
Well, I will say this. The thing in education, I've always said it is truly about the people. The people is what make a school great, a district great, and, you know, losing you two is big, and it's all about we've got to get the right people here, and you've been here, made a huge impact, and I know you will say this, you're lifelong learners, continually trying to better yourself, but I can say this because I've had 3 kids come through the system here, through the high school, and nothing but great things to say about both of you, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
And we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone, to Supt Talk, and I would like to once again just thank Mrs. Carrie Devalk and Mrs. Linnea Hautman for being guests on our show. And now we're bringing in Miss Lana Puffer, who has been an integral part of our school district for quite some time, and we'd like to welcome you, Lana.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you start out with just kind of telling our guests a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do for the school district.
Okay, well, I coordinate the early childhood programs for our district. I originally was an elementary education teacher. I taught 3rd grade in the Mounds View school system, And then when my husband and I moved to New Prague in 1976, I did a little subbing. I taught long-term sub in 4th grade for a while, and then I taught preschool at Small Wonders. And then in 1986, early childhood family education was starting. It was kind of in its infancy in those years. And New Prague hired me to plan and kind of oversee the beginnings of early childhood family ed. And now that has grown into coordinating also the preschool classes and our early childhood screening program.
All right, why don't, Lana, I want you to talk about the ages of the children in the programs and sort of, if you could, I know there's a lot there, but basically what it entails in all the programs that you have.
Okay. Well, our early childhood family education is a parent-child program that serves children from birth up to kindergarten. And in this particular program, we offer weekly classes. Parents attend with their kids once a week. And can be a toddler class, it can be a baby class, it can be a 3 to 5-year-old class. We have evening classes and daytime classes. It is set up in a way that parents and kids are together for the first part of the class in some kind of play-appropriate, age-appropriate activities. And then parents separate out for a parent time while the children stay back with the early childhood teacher for more time with her. Our preschool program is for 3 to 5-year-olds, and there we offer, we have about 14 classes weekly in 3 different locations. We even have an evening preschool class that's 1 night a week here at the CEC. And then our screening program, we screen about 260 to 300 kids a year, which is kind of a mandated, state-required screening that all kids need before they enter kindergarten. So that's a little bit about the numbers.
Okay, so for the viewers out there, we have a parent education program, we have a preschool program, and a screening program. So
correct.
It's three-pronged type of programming that we have. Well, let's talk about the growth. The growth that you've seen in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, parent education and especially preschool too.
Yes. Well, our preschool program, we started our preschool program, I believe, in about 2000 when the Early Childhood Center was built, was kind of, I think, when we started our first preschool class. And we had one class with about, I think, 8 kids in it.
And that was only in 2000?
That was about in 2000,
14
yes.
years. Wow.
And then now, currently, this year, as I stated earlier, we have 260 kids in our 14 classrooms, in our 14 classes that we offer. And so that has grown tremendously.
And we have a waiting list.
And we have a waiting list. Right now, we're kind of classroom bound, so to speak.
Yep.
We don't have really classrooms to move into anymore, so we do have a waiting list. Right now, we are, once in a while, we'll have 1 or 2 openings if a family moves away. But we're pretty much at capacity at this, as of today.
Yeah, and I'd like to make a note of this too, that this has come up through the facilities task force. The group has studied this, and we've got a waiting list. And with all-day, everyday kindergarten, especially at the 4-year-old level, it's just, because of that, it's only going to increase. And I think the numbers and the number of kids enrolled there, it's increasing because of that, but I also truly believe it's the quality of programming, especially, again, it comes to the people. You guys have a great teaching staff that obviously parents want their kids to be sent to and learn during that time, too.
Correct. I think for our total staff with early childhood family ed and our preschools, we have 8 licensed teachers. They all have their BAs in early childhood and sometimes masters in either early childhood education and or parent education. Some of them have both licensures. Even our paras, we have 7 paras in our program. Even some of those have 2-year licenses in early childhood or have extensive background in daycare or early childhood settings. So we have a really qualified, experienced staff. And I think, as Linnea and Carrie stated in the previous segment, important for us are the relationships that we build with our families. So whether it's in an ECFE class, with the parents, with the other parents, teachers with the parents, that's, I think, the key to our program, too. And I think we have a really great staff.
You've got classes at Eagleview Elementary, at the Early Childhood Center here right by Falcon Ridge, and at the CEC, the Central Education Campus. And part of it, too, for the viewers out there, and part of the recommendation by that task force is to expand preschool. So we've got a lot of people that want to get into it, and that will be part of the well, it is part of the recommendation, but if the school board would approve moving forward with the task force recommendation, we'd have a referendum, but we'd increase preschool programming with classroom space at the CEC, because obviously it can grow. Could you quick talk also about the RAP program? Because I've had probably in the last month a dozen people comment about the RAP program. They have their kids in there and they just, nothing but positive things.
Right. I think one of the reasons that the program has increased tremendously is that we try to offer different choices for parents. So over the years, we've had one-day programs, we've had two-day programs, we've had three-day programs. Last year, we started an extended day preschool at Eagleview where the kids attend 2 full days. So they come on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3:30. Parents have loved that. And now next year we're going to offer a 4-day, half-day program.
Okay.
So kids will come Monday through Thursday for 3 hours. So it's just kind of finding kind of what fits with families. Families all have different needs and daycare needs, and that's where the RAP came. There were some parents that really wanted a preschool experience, but because their kids were in full-day daycare, they had no way to transport them to preschool. So the RAP was something that started, so it's a way to kind of give parents the option of attending preschool, and then they can wrap the day with childcare. So the RAP program provides childcare before and after their preschool class. And it can be
RAP.
Right.
So childcare in the beginning, preschool, and then childcare after that.
Yep, and they're very flexible in the number of days that parents can send them to RAP, the number of hours that they send them to RAP. So it gives parents more flexibility and just another option in order to, send their kids to preschool. A lot of parents would like a preschool experience. They like to put their child into more of a typical kindergarten setting with more kids, which they don't get in a daycare setting. They also like to be in a school, more of a school-structured environment. So a preschool can offer that, and the RAP obviously helps parents be able to do that.
It's amazing. Preschool, like you said earlier, 8 students back in 2000. We had 8 students, 1 class. Now we offer 14 different types of classes, 260 students with a waiting list.
Correct.
That's a lot of change, a lot of increase in 14 years. So I'm proud of them.
I would just, over the last probably 8 years, Lana, you and I have worked together with a lot of other people also. And one last question here we can kind of dig into a little bit, but the preschool classes, and we've talked about the number of offerings, but what actually goes on in there, we've worked a lot with curriculum, early literacy, making sure that not only our kids are getting what they need, but your staff does such a wonderful job of working with the parents, taking home things, not homework per se, but assignments, and just helping to educate parents on what they can do at home. Is that also one of those things that has kind of changed over the years, and we've even learned more as a school as to what kids need at an earlier age?
Well, I think we've learned since I started doing preschool in the early 70s, and preschool is kind of a nice extra, but now we have learned through brain research that the early years are the best learning years for kids. We also know that parents are the most important teacher of kids, so all of our ECFE programs and our preschool programs are there to support families in giving them the building blocks that they need to help their child be successful in school. So whether it's our curriculum, our classroom environments, the quality teachers that we have, I always feel like we are doing what we can to support that role that parents have in getting their kids ready for kindergarten.
How about your vision here in the next short term, here in the next year or 2 or 3 years? What any other changes you can see or things that you'd like to do that we're not doing right now?
Other than more classrooms, I think we'll need more classrooms. I think we'll continue to explore different options for parents. I think the RAP will become more and more important, and will probably continue to grow. I would like to see us be able to offer more, classes that will help with that transition to kindergarten. Parents really, when they see all-day, everyday K, they want to get their kids ready for that all-day experience. I still personally feel all day is sometimes a little too much for 3, 4s, and 5-year-olds, but we're feeling that a half-day option every day is a kind of a nice transition to kindergarten. So I'm hoping that we can continue to offer more half-day programs, but for more days a week.
Yep.
But in order to do that, we need to have more classrooms. Otherwise, we can't maximize kids, when we offer longer classes. So,
Lana, if we have some parents out there who are watching this and maybe they've got young kids that are not in school, or even daycare providers, grandma, grandpas, etc., and they want to get a hold of someone to talk to about some of the wonderful information that you've shared today, what's the best place or what's the best way to contact you or your department?
they can call me at 758-1671. Our program number is 1674, so they could call either of those, and that's how they could get in touch with me, or talking to a teacher, and then I can, if they want information about kindergarten, we can forward them to other people to talk to.
Are we on the website? We have
we are on the website.
On the
yep,
website
we have
also.
all of our. Yeah, if you go into the community education website and click on early childhood, all of our information is there. So. And we will be sending out, we'll be starting our registration for next year for preschool in the next week. I'm just finishing up editing the brochure that will be mailed to all families in our district, and we will start the registration process for next year.
Well, I'll tell you this, our vision is to be a world-class school district, and it starts with that foundation you're talking about, getting kids that literacy readiness or kindergarten readiness, how important that is, and how you work with parents and the parent education, your educators that are working with parents in the parent education program, or what we offer for preschool, all the choices that we have. It's a value that must remain strong in this school district, and I know we'll continue to get better, and I'm sure the numbers of parents and students enrolling are going to continue to increase. It's only going to benefit them, our community, obviously our school district. So when we talk about New Prague Area School District, I always say it's pre-K, it's all the way to senior citizens, and we offer programming and learning opportunities for all ages. It's not just everyone who thinks kindergarten through 12th grade, but like I said, the foundation of preschool and parent education is very important, and through our community education services we offer, again, like I said, learning opportunities all the way up to every age. So we want to thank you for a job well done. You've got terrific staff, and we're very proud.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Lana, and thank you to Mrs. Devalk again, Mrs. Hautman. We've had 3 wonderful guests today. Tim, I think this is maybe one of our best episodes, and as you go back, it's always the people. We have these wonderful people, and to bring a little bit of closure to what Mr. Dittberner said, we do work with students from birth to age 21 within the school district, and we have so many wonderful staff members who do that, and we wish the best for our 2 retirees. It's kind of funny how we started out with retirees, and then we end with talking about the screening and the kids coming into our school district and the wonderful opportunities that they have here within our school district. So to bring a little bit of closure, Mr. Dittberner, we've had everything today from birth through retirement.
That's right.
Any last closing comments for our staff and or community members today?
No, just again, I want to recognize our retirees, Carrie and Linnea. They've done a great job, and Lana, it was great having you on today, and very proud of the accomplishments, and we just want to continue to get better.
Outstanding. That is Supt Talk, Episode 5, the first one of 2015. I'd also just like to say that if you watch something on Supt Talk and you have some questions, feel free to contact myself, Tony Buthe at the New Prague School District, and I can put you in touch with anybody, any of our staff members, or answer any questions that you have. And I'm sure Mr. Dittberner also would be more than happy to visit. So we want to make sure your questions are answered. But thank you very much for viewing in, and have a great week.